So start with what you see out of Ryan Lomberg tonight.
Skated and hit. That's the way he's got to play, and that's something that happy that he brought to the table, because he's got to play a certain way, and that was it tonight for sure. Obviously, some big goals, and he's a very effective player when he plays to his identity.
He seemed to have an extra step in him tonight from Saturday. Did you see that as well?
Yeah, I think he played on his toes, really. He was really going. He had some, he had some good energy, and obviously when you score, that sort of gives you another level of energy, and so just effectiveness. He's a quick player. Like, he can get places, and he's got a good stick, and so the results are usually a lot of influence on the game.
Is that kind of textbook of what you wanted, that line?
Yeah, I think they played a great game. They were very effective on nearly all their shifts. They weren't afraid to get involved physically, and the important thing I think for them is that we want to get that for them, but we also want them to provide that, because that's what they need to do at the next level, and we're here to help them be prepared for the next level.
Do you think there's a transition for somebody like Lomberg, who has put up some good numbers, before this, coming in and kind of being in a slightly different role, although now he's scoring, so maybe it's not that different for him, but at face value, is there some transition that goes from, coming up a level and being in a different role?
I think that there is. I think that it's easy to lose sight of what is going to get you to the highest level in the long run. And so he's had success as an offensive player, but when you look at it realistically, like, what's he going to be at the AHL and NHL level? He'll contribute offense, but at the same time, his bread and butter is not going to be maybe the same identity that he's played with. But I will say that he's really played with a physical, like a grit component to his game, and that's all we're asking from him, is to play with that grit and be that disturbing player in many ways and contribute. He can do both, and I think he did that tonight.
What does it mean for you guys, a brand new team? Most of these people had never played together. You hadn't coached any of them, to come together and be 5-0.
I think it just says a lot about the character of the guys that are in the room. Really, I think that they've pushed pretty hard for each other, and I think that they're starting to feel the need to win for each other. Like the need to make sacrifice, and you're starting to see them really, like, just sort of devote themselves to that. So that's just fun. It's just good. It's good hockey. They're all clicking. Things are running well. And, it won't always be like this, but we're certainly happy that it's like this, and we want to keep it going.
Does starting like this give you something so that when it's not, you kind of can point back and be like, well, we know it can be, so we can get back there?
Yep, definitely. I think we want to really keep an eye on the process that we're going through, and we want to make sure that no matter whether we're racking up wins or we're in a tough spot, we understand that it's about concentrating on like how we play in particular games, and not so much the scoreboard and the standings. So we can, I think, take, like, always look to this as an example of, if we're sticking to our process, then we should get good results.
You mentioned it's about character, which is something you said you were really recruiting for, as you were looking at players. Is it kind of show you found who you were looking for, if they're starting off with this mentality?
I think that it definitely shows. We're trying to find players that really value like a high standard, and that's what we talk about a lot. And we're especially trying to find veteran players that have a high degree of professionalism, and I think that's sort of coming out. Like, they really take it personally. They took it personally on Sunday afternoon in Manchester, despite fatigue, and they take it personally when we have a strong team from the South come in and play us here at home. So I think that's what we're looking for, is guys that know one way to play, and they really want to put their best on the ice every night.
How did you bring this team together, or what did this team do to come together in such a relatively short period of time?
I think we tried to focus on being really clear on what we expected, and I think that the one thing that we push for is for them to establish an identity for themselves, and so it's thus far they've done a good job of that, and we want to keep pushing it because. But again, I think it does go back to it's not what we did as a coaching staff; it's what the players are doing. They're the ones that are making the sacrifices and steering the ship. So we're just trying to hopefully navigate a little bit for them.
Did you expect it to go this well this early?
No, I think that you want to get off to a solid start, but we understand that every team in the league is very good, and there have been lots of nights when it could have gone the other way already in this season. So I think we take everything with a grain of salt and make sure that we're happy that it's gone this way, but we also know that there's no guarantee that Friday night in Wheeling is any easier than if we were 0-5.
Great, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.